Carolina Works is brought to you in part by the South Carolina Occupational Information System, South Carolina's official career resource network, and your pathway to success.
Coming up, the road to recovery after losing a job. Filing for unemployment insurance and searching new job prospects. Keeping stress low and spirits high. Networking, resume writing, and dressing for success. All this and more on Carolina Works. Hi everyone, I'm Clark Newsom, and this is Carolina Works, the monthly news magazine of the South Carolina workforce system. Well, with the economy facing a serious downturn, this month we focus on what it takes to find a new job. Keith Lucas from the South Carolina Employment Security Commission's Midlands One-Stop Workforce Center will talk about filing for unemployment insurance and services offered to the jobless statewide. Columbia psychologist Stephanie Boyd will discuss the personal impact of losing a job and how to overcome it. Tracy Powers of the USC Career Center will also be on hand for advice on getting a new job. And, as usual, Marilyn Matthews is with us to bring us up to date on the local business news. First, we'll take a look at what it takes to apply for unemployment insurance, as well as take advantage of other means of support from the South Carolina workforce system.
Well, there's several methods to filing for unemployment. Of course, there's technology where someone can file online by going to our website, www.SCESC.org, and filing themselves. Also, they can go in to a number of the centers, the workforce centers across the state, and file. The Employment Security Commission operates a state labor exchange for South Carolina, which we use the South Carolina Job Link. In that system, basically there's a number of job openings ranging in jobs from retail, manufacturing, professional, just a host of different types of jobs out there. Also through that system, we have labor market information where they can come in and look at prevailing wages. So when they're out, they can see what jobs are growing in the community, what job lines might be shrinking. They can use that information for things such as finding out what a prevailing wage is for a specific job. That way when they go for interviews, they're not overpricing themselves above what the market would bear in that area or underpricing themselves. Basically, each one of the centers throughout the state, some of the services might be a little bit different in each one, but as a whole, basically all have resource rooms that are available in there. They have ways of course, getting onto the internet, looking at the different job sites out there. Most are involved with some type of package that does resume preparation. Most centers actually have staff that are experts in the working with the resumes, and they'll be glad to help assist. The more eyes you get looking on a resume to help you, normally the better off you are. Also, there's typing tutorials. Those sites are on there. A lot of assessment programs are provided in each area. They might be by different names or different things in the 12 regions across the state, but pretty much all areas do have one type of assessment or another. Of course, with veterans, we have people in the office that are designated for working with veterans. They are veterans themselves. A lot of the centers, such as ours, basically have resource areas designated to the service of veterans. We also give preferences on job orders when they come in for veterans, giving them first shot at the jobs. At most of the branch offices, I think, of course, there's the Workforce Investment Act, whether it be we're operating the program or it be with another partner agency where they're co-located inside the building that provides. With the Workforce Investment Act, they have 3 programs that they work with. One is dislocated workers, which they're working with people that have been laid off from jobs or notified they've been laid off from jobs. Adult job seekers, people that are unemployed that didn't meet the qualification under the dislocated worker, and then youth programs. Those programs basically work with individuals through a host of methods such as on-the-job training, classroom training if somebody needs skills upgraded, and then also it's more of a case management type site set up where they're actually working with individuals with job search.
Losing a job hits people both financially and emotionally, and finding new work often means developing new coping skills to deal with either. Here's some advice on keeping your cool through tough times.
The first thing to do in a situation when you feel like your job may be in jeopardy, or other jobs may be in jeopardy of people that you care about, is to, first of all, just be still. We have a way of escalating our sense of anxiety as we anticipate these catastrophic things that may or may not happen. If it is known that your job is going to be lost and you are looking at being terminated or laid off, then the first step we would recommend you to do is to, one, stop and breathe, particularly as you are being terminated or your job has ended. Just stop for a minute and recognize that you are in a heightened emotional state, and anxiety oftentimes creates some behaviors that are not necessarily helpful. Some people may try to do a preemptive strike and go ahead and leave their job out of fear of being terminated or avoiding some real or perceived additional negative impact of losing their job. Others may spiral into maladaptive coping, where either as they're anticipating their jobs or have lost their jobs, they may do things to cope, such as consuming excessive alcohol or engaging in reckless behavior, taking on a kind of devil may care attitude. For example, if you are a person living to paycheck, your survival in the immediate was most important to you. And that may require you to call on family support or community support in order to allow you to get grounded and stable enough for you to go back into your independent living or working. So you may have to assess your support systems as a beginning. It is very easy to fall into the malaise of something's happening to me or something has happened to me, and internalize those events such that we begin to be in a sense our worst enemy, by thinking I'm a failure, I must be weak, there must be something about me that had me in this position versus someone else. And so those kinds of thoughts and feelings can in fact keep us in the bed. Our talk can become very, very negative. And when our talk becomes very negative, how we appraise ourselves in our situation becomes very negative, the behavior follows. We tend to withdraw, we tend to have low energy and interest. What we work with our clients when they find themselves dealing with difficult situations is to make sure, or to help them not become their own obstacle, an obstacle on top of an obstacle. So we would encourage people to be careful or to be mindful or vigilant of how they talk to themselves about it, that the situation is not in fact hopeless, or they are in fact helpless in the long term. They may be caught in an acute situation in which they feel that way. So some of the important things to do is to use good coping behaviors and skills, such as continuing to have some type of routine, particularly as you adjust from going to work every day to not going to work every day. Have a routine. It gives us a sense of purpose. It can be energizing. And in fact, the immediate results may not be a job tomorrow, but rather it keeps you in the game to continue to look for the job in the long term. When people are anxious and depressed, one of the expected difficulties that they're going to have is impaired sleep. They either sleep very poorly, they have disrupted sleep, they don't sleep enough, or some people will tend to sleep excessively as a kind of an escape mechanism. Sometimes we have to encourage people in the face of adversity to develop healthy routines in order to help them deal with adversity. So if you don't have a good routine in terms of sleep hygiene, how you sleep, how you eat, how you take care of yourself, it's a good opportunity to develop a good routine. So the routine that I would recommend for people would be try to maintain a sleep pattern that is consistent with what you had when you worked. The body adjusts better when you keep a routine. It can create a sense or help you create a sense of purposefulness when you get up and have something to do, so you need to be planful about having things to do. We all know that when we get stressed and feel depressed, we start engaging in some poor health behaviors, eating too much, eating the wrong things, sometimes consuming alcohol, or all the things that when we do in excess are not good for us. So maintaining a healthy diet, exercising is a wonderful stress relief. Not only does it help you to work off the tension and the physiological parts of the anxiety, but it also gives us what we call a sense of agency, that we have something that we're controlling. And the long-term effect of that is keeps us healthy, both physically and psychologically, to stay in the game, to be able to get up a week later or to move a week later to go into resume writing, to job searching, because when we feel healthy, we have the energy and the motivation to engage in the behaviors that's going to help us down the line. One of the recommendations we have for people is this might be a time, if you've worked a lot, if you had long hours, to invest time in doing the things with your family in the interim that you have always wanted to do but never had the chance to do it. It may be getting involved with your community or giving of yourself during this time when you are not doing the things that you used to do, such as working. We find that gives people a tremendous amount of purpose, and it's also not only a way to transition from working to non-working, but it also allows opportunity for your own personal growth and having a satisfying life in terms of being a part of your community. It is not unusual when people have a job loss or a career disruption for that to also be accompanied by a sense of shame. We are a society that values productivity and independence. We value our careers in terms of how that is socially valued. And so when that's gone, we feel that personal loss. We feel that personal loss, and our social systems may also feel that loss for us. And it's a sense of grief. It's a grief that the person is experiencing personally as well as in that social setting. And we're not very comfortable in dealing with grief, whether it's our own grief or someone else's grief. Our tendency is to avoid it or to be uncomfortable with it. And what happens to the person sometimes, or within their social circle, is that as a person has a career disruption or a job loss, it causes ripple in that social group. They're not really sure how to respond to it. What do you say? How do you be supportive? And people are afraid of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing or somehow enjoying or being able to participate in their careers when they know that you've lost yours. That feels uncomfortable. So what tends to happen sometimes is that we just avoid it. When people are grieving whatever the loss, sometimes the people around us need permission to know it's okay to grieve with me. You can't make it better, you can't fix it, you didn't break it, but your support in sharing this part of my life, this journey, even though it's not a good part, is what we need from our social support system and what we give them permission to do. So sometimes you got to clear the elephant out of the room and say, you know, I lost my job. It was a circumstance of my company having a downturn. give them permission to talk about it with them. Oftentimes people wait for us to give them permission to say, it's okay to be with me in this dark time. That's what friends are for. So I think in kind of clearing the elephant out of the room is a huge step in maintaining your social support.
Finding a job is something of a skill all its own. It means networking, resume writing, and knowing how to both dress for a job interview and deliver once you get there. The USC Career Center offers some tips to get ahead.
A lot of people think the first thing they need to do is sit down and work on a resume, but actually the first thing that people really need to do is sit down and assess their skills and their experiences. Just start with inventorying some of the things that they have to offer employers, and also start thinking about what it is that they really want to do. Networking has been proven to be the most effective way of finding a job, because there are estimates that 60 to 70% of the jobs are never advertised in any place. A lot of people think that it's really being in the know and tapping into the people who are in the know, but really it's just utilizing people that you're familiar with to help you uncover the hidden job market. Because so many people think of networking as a very negative thing, they feel like they're sometimes using people to get something, but there are a lot of people out there who really want to help their friends or their family members, or they work in jobs where they really are excited about helping people. Write in paragraph format, really bulleted statements to describe what types of things they've done in the past, so that people are paying more attention to it, because the more that people have to read, the less they will probably pay attention to the resume. I've heard hiring managers say they will tear off the first page, or they won't even look at a 3-page resume. But then you have some who will just quickly glance through the resume and find the information that they feel like is most helpful to them. Sometimes people think that they should dress the way they think they would look on the job, but you really want to go beyond that and show that you're someone who really tends to details, you're someone who will present very positively in the workplace. For men and women, they really need to be dressed in a suit. And for women, that can be a skirt suit or a pantsuit. It needs to be very conservative, either in solids or conservative print of some kind. A blouse underneath it that is a solid color, nothing with real bold design or bold colors is very important. The shoes should be polished, clean, should not be worn looking. The person who's greeting you tends to start looking from the bottom up, and so the first thing that they sometimes glance at are your shoes. Men should also, in terms of the suit, they need to be very conservative, either a simple stripe or a solid. They always should wear a tie and have that top button on their shirt buttoned, and the tie again should be a pretty conservative design. If you're wearing, a dark blue or a black suit, you need to have black socks so that everything blends and nothing stands out. Certainly any company expects someone to walk into an interview and know something about what they do and what they have to offer. Because of the information age, everybody should be able to quickly find out what product or service a company is offering. The first thing that's real important for the candidate to know is to take their time and think about it. It's okay for there to be silence in the room, as long as it doesn't go on for real long time, but to be comfortable saying, let me think about that for a minute, because if a person feels like they have to react too quickly, oftentimes they wish that they had taken a little more time to think about the answer. I think that trying to think ahead of time about the pace and trying not to get to make things go quicker than they should is very important. To ask for clarifying questions. If you don't understand a question, it's okay, because sometimes people get so nervous that they don't hear the question correctly. And the people who invest the time typically are the people who end up getting the better opportunities, getting the opportunities in a more timely manner. They're the people who are more successful in the job search.
And now here's Marilyn Mathias with this month's business news.
The Celia Saxon Shopping Center, a project intended to encourage economic development in its surrounding community, officially opened this month according to the state newspaper. Located next to the Celia Saxon subdivision, the center will feature Columbia Food Fresh Market and All South Federal Credit Union. City officials say this is the first time in about 20 years that the neighborhood will have a nearby grocer. The shopping center is expected to bring over 50 jobs. Also in recent news, a startup company in Duncan, which grew from 4 employees to 180 employees just this year, has been named the fastest growing company in the state, according to the upstate accounting firm Elliott Davis. The 2AM Group, an automotive manufacturing company, took top honors in South Carolina's Fastest Growing Companies 2008 competition. A Dubai-based firm unveiled plans this month for a 1,300-acre logistics and distribution hub that could eventually bring 6,000 jobs and up to $600 million to economically challenged Orangeburg County, according to the state newspaper. The initial $340 million investment is expected to create 3,065 jobs by 2020, with another 2,200 support jobs off-site. Ultimately, the company could invest up to $600 million in the hub, finishing construction in 2032, the paper reported. MGA Research Corporation will open a new test facility in Spartanburg. The investment is expected to create about 25 new jobs over the next few years for the automotive research facility. The new facility will be the company's 4th test facility in the United States. MGA also has major facilities in New York, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and international locations in Korea, India, China, and Brazil. American Titanium Works announced plans to build a world-class titanium mini-mill in Lawrence County. The Chicago-based company will invest an estimated $422 million and plans to employ 320 people at its new facility in Lawrence County. Sloan Construction Company, Incorporated, will locate a new liquid asphalt, cement, and storage and distribution facility in Union County. The $15 million investment is expected to generate up to 20 new jobs. CMC Steel South Carolina will expand its operating facility in Casey, South Carolina. The company will invest approximately $29.5 million to grow its steel mill in Lexington County. LSP Automotive Systems, LLC, which supplies metal and assemblies for the North American automotive industry, announced plans to invest $45 million to expand its facility in Union County, which is expected to create 61 new jobs. Tektronic Industries North America, Incorporated, plans to invest $3.8 million to expand its operations in Pickens County, creating 152 new jobs. Prime South Incorporated will locate its corporate headquarters and operation and maintenance business and its newly created sister company, Prime South Trade Services, LLC, in Ridgeway. The company will invest $1.68 million in the construction of office space, and a training facility will employ 400 people over the next 5 years. The Institute for Business and Home Safety has announced it will locate its new research center, the Insurance Center for Building Safety Research, in Chester County. The company expects to invest $27 million in the project. I'm Marilyn Matthews, and that's this month's Business News.
With the holiday season approaching, chances are you've received an offer to become a mystery shopper, where someone actually pays you to shop for products. Sound like fun? Well, think twice, says the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs.
If you haven't received a personal invite, you've probably seen an offer to be a mystery shopper to get paid to buy from your favorite stores. Sounds great, but unfortunately, many of these offers only end up taking money out of your pockets. So how do you determine a legitimate mystery shopper pitch from a bogus one? First, you're better off picking them, not letting them pick you. If you think you may be interested in signing up, check out some of the reputable sites for yourself. But if you unexpectedly receive an offer in the mail, consider it a red flag. Second, like most good things in life, it's not free. Legitimate organizations require you to pay for a membership. Finally, check the grammar. Bogus offers are often crafted by individuals who do not speak English as their first language. Lots of misspellings and grammar mistakes likely mean you're dealing with a scammer. This is Charles Ellison with the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs.
Well, that's our show this month. To find out more about the programs and services featured on this program, please be sure to visit our website, www.carolinaworks.org. Thanks for watching, and please join us again next time for Carolina Works.
Carolina Works is brought to you in part by the South Carolina Occupational Information System, South Carolina's official career resource network and your pathway to success.